Hey guys, Devamitra one more time. In my previous session, I have talked about Java, JavaScript. Now I'm going to give you an idea about GitHub. So what is GitHub? What is Git? I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So be it a small scale startup or a big tech giant or an unicorn company, one thing that is common to all is that they extensively use Git version control to manage their huge code base and make the deployment cycle faster. Knowing how to make the most of Git's usable features is crucial to managing software. Okay, so at first, GIT comes across or Git comes across as an easy tool that can be learned later when there is a real need, and that day comes when the Git command shoots an error, after which it becomes too complicated to understand. Often developers resort to copy pasting, which doesn't help in the long run unless you are hands on with Git. You are not an independent developer. So you are here because you want to understand and learn it right from the basics, right? So I'm going to give you that knowledge. So here is what you will learn in my session. So what is version control? Benefits of version control systems in projects. What is GIT or Git? Features of Git. How to use Git and what is the difference between Git and versus GitHub. So let's begin. What is version control system? Version control refers to the practice of tracking and managing changes to software code. And version control system refers to software tools that assist software teams in managing changes to source code over time. In layman's terms, version control means that if you rip off the project or accidentally delete files, you can quickly recover them. Learn important Git commands to manage your files. Okay, so say you are adding a new feature to your $1 million app. You spend sleepless nights writing code for it, and before you can go back in time, you realize that new bug has crashed the production server. So now what? What you will do? Fractionally pressing Control plus Z on your keyboard to hopefully return to a previous version of the working code. That's not going to help always. Okay, so how do you get out this Control plus Z, Control plus Y loop? Do you have any idea how you will get out from this? Okay, I'm going to give you that idea. VCS, version control system, is the answer you are looking for. Okay, why would you care to add another sword to your software armory? VCS can not only restore your previous working version, but it can also solve their concerns with code management and applications deployment. You cannot avoid learning VCS to manage and make your code production ready in the current DevOps cultural shift. Okay. So top benefits of version control system. Trace the changes made to the code. Version control tracks change to a file or collection of files over time so that different versions can be restored later. It allows you to revert selected files to a previous state, the entire project to a previous state. Monitor changes over time. See who last updated something that may be causing a problem, who implemented and used. Additionally, it lets you add metadata to the changes that can help others understand why that changes were made and when and who made it. Okay, so do you know how to analyze the changes made to different versions of your code? So the next one is simplify code review. The version control system also simplifies the code review process by measuring and introducing the differences introduced by the developer in the code to the reviewer. So saving time and finding errors with ease. Modify code efficiently. You can think of it as having a time stone that enables you to go backward in your work so that you can rectify the origin of mistakes you did previously and make a new tangent in the time axis and manage messed up things. Reward changes that introduce bugs. Bugs are an inevitable thing. Even in a small scale project, bugs can indeed be found. Identifying and resolving bugs results in new updates that are published as patch updates. Without the use of a version control system, managing these patches and distributing the workload among peers is a time consuming job. So, maintaining multiple versions of the project. Requirements evolve and change. When a new feature is added or an existing feature becomes outdated, the application code is updated. Handling various versions of code in a large code base is a cakewalk with VCS. So better collaboration and improved term productivity. Usually, a project is managed by a group of several individuals. Often, this leads to interdependence among members, and productivity degrades as a consequence. Working in isolation, that extending code and combining differences will boost development work uh, exponentially. Easy integration with latest productivity tools. Version control software product provides an interface for integrating third-party productivity applications suites such as product or bug project or bug monitoring apps such as Jira. Uh, Hooks are customized scripts that are automatically triggered when a specific operation in a Git repository is performed. Hooks empower you to tailor your Git workflow and mm, initiate personalized behavior at key events in the project's life cycle. So, what is Git? Or what is GIT? Git is a distributed version control framework that is free and open source. Linus Torvalds, the developer of the Linux operating system kernel, created it in 2005. GIT is used for project collaboration and history exploration. Git provides all of the benefits of a distributed version control system that have been addressed in the preceding selection. So, but what made Git a market leader? So let us investigate. Okay. So, features of Git. Here are some of the most basic and essential features of Git that make it the clear option of all available version control tools. The first one is fully distributed VCS. Every participating node in distributed VCS have a complete copy of the project as well as full version history of each file. This allows you to work locally without a network connection, all while allowing you to collaborate when you are back online via central remote repositories. Being distributed GIT city provides you the advantage of having multiple backups and choice to follow workflow of your voice locally. Data integrity and security. Git uses cryptographic algorithms to store files and snapshots. The checksum is determined when the files are stored and checked when they are retrieved. If you change things to a file, date, author information, commit message, or something else, the associated commit ID changes. Use of the same commit ID ensures that your project is exactly the same as when it was committed and that the history has been altered. So supports non-linear development. It supports frictionless and rapid constant switching between different linear workflows. This allows developers to work asynchronously and managers to do so. Frequent releases, which generates frequent customers feedback and fast updates in reaction to the feedback. So branching, this is a very powerful feature that allows for parallel creation and simple merges. A new feature can be tested and worked and on around the branches and then integrated with the production branch almost instantly without affecting other people's code. Working with GIT or Git offers an isolated environment for any chance to your code base made by any term any team member during to branch magic. This contributes to the adoption of feature-based workflow and also gives us the ability to perform experimentation that can be quickly discarded. So lightweight and fast. Everything is local. Almost all Git operations are done locally, which greatly decreases network calls. Furthermore, the source code of Git is written in C, a low-level language, which reduces overall runtime. Since Git stores all project files with their full revision history, okay, the repository overall size can balloon significantly. Git optimizes for this by combining the files into a pack file. The pack file stores the files and the variations in each version of the file. So open source and free. Git is heavily used by the developers as it is free and open to the community. So basics of how Git works. First and foremost, it is important to understand the three areas where your code lives inside Git. Working tree. The working tree contains the files that you are currently working on. When you open the files for a project that is managed as a Git repository, you gain access to the working tree. Staging area index. The staging area in like backstage in a theater, the area contains all the added files that contains new change code, which is ready to be joined to the next commit. All new changed and files are first pushed to the staging area. So repository. Git repository contains all files of the project. It's like your project's database. It can be a local Git repository or remotely present in any web hosting servers like GitHub, Bitbucket. Okay, so every file under goes through these three stages. The first one is modified. In a Git repository, in a Git repository, you can make changes to your copy of the project without hammering the original code. This is called modification, making some additions to the original project. Staged files are modified files that are marked to go in your next commit. Git add command tracks the new changes and pushes them to the staging area. Committed. You must commit the file in order for the changes to be reflected and stored in the local database. To make it accessible to all of your team members, use the git push command to push it to a remote center repository. So basic Git workflow. When you browse and work on files in your repository, you are on a working tree and all of your files are untracked at first. The files you want to record are then stacked and moved to index. The third one is the staged files are then committed and saved in the local repository. When you are ready to make them public, add them to a remote repository hosting service such as GitHub. So guys, this is for today's session. What I have talked about Git, and now I am going to give you the idea of what is exactly GitHub. GitHub is a platform built on top of Git that allows developers to manage and communicate their projects with the rest of the globe. Yes, or someone else in the developer community may contribute to open source projects using GitHub. That's like social media for developers, where you can interact with like-minded developers and work on meaningful projects collectively. So what is the difference between Git and GitHub? Uh, it's equivalent to asking for emails versus Gmail. Git is a version of control. Git is a version control system, and GitHub is a cloud-based hosting service that helps in managing Git repositories. So alternatives to GitHub, what are the alternatives of GitHub? That is GitHub, Bitbucket, AWS Code Commit. DL and DL. Version control software is a fundamental part of a modern software teams. Day-to-day work process and plays a critical role in overall project creation and management. Git, a first and feature-rich distributed version control system, is used by team members at all levels, from customer service to developers to project managers, all of which have verifying viewpoints on what Git means to them. So learn how to use Git with this command. Git does not save the data as a sequence of adjustments. GIT, on the other hand, creates a snapshot of your repository at a specific point in time. This snapshot is known as commit. Git provides um, inexpensive local branching, handy staging areas, optimizing optimization for local operations, and a support of lot of workflows, all of which boost team efficiency. Git projects source code from unintentional code changes or hardware failures allows us to easily revert to a previous version and pinpoint the source of an error. Git is a content management system. Git is a not a file management system. GitHub, on the other hand, is a platform for collaboration developed on top of Git. GitHub caters to developers or those who code and build apps. So these are the things, guys. What is the difference between Git and GitHub? I have already talked about it. Okay. So guys, in my YouTube channel, there are so many videos that are going on. Whatever I have talked about my career journey stories, and these are the videos about the technical things. So if you want to know more than that, you can communicate with us, and the phone numbers are given below, so you can call and talk with us. We are providing all the details about courses, and our batches are going on. There are so many batches, there are so many things in PCS Global. So if you want to know, kindly communicate with us and get the proper knowledge. And for more knowledge, kindly subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon and comment below. So bye for now, guys.